So the burn tool works essentially in the opposite way of the dodge tool. This is going to be used to darken specific areas of an image. It's like painting with shadows, and you're working again on the highlight, midtone, or shadow areas or values of the image. Softening the brush, doing it subtly, unless you're looking for something with really, high contrast. Um, And there are destructive methods where you're affecting the pixels and there's no going back. And then there's this non destructive method of making that duplicate overlay layer just a fill layer with a 50% gray value in it, and then setting the blend mode to overlay and then painting into that. So we'll just start with some destructive edits here. And yeah, so very simply, we've got keyboard shortcut O. We're going to do Shift O to toggle to the burn tool, adjust the size of this brush. We've got our midtone shadows and highlights that we can affect here, exposure settings here. And I'm going to go in, and this is just an example of an image that does have, pretty clear midtone shadow and highlight information, but it's also fairly gray, middle gray everywhere. So I could get into something like this and just start, and I'm not doing this very subtly with good brush control or anything, but I could start to get in here and really use this tool just to target into areas that I want to increase the contrast and make the value range a little bit broader. So on a photo, similarly, in this case, we've got really blown out highlight areas. Now, this is an example of where even when I go into the highlights, there's just not a lot of other information in there to pull out. So it's just going to sort of reduce the contrast by sort of making everything a little bit more dark. And so before, after, right? And so sometimes that can be useful, sometimes not. More commonly, what you're going to do is take something and, like I said, sort of sculpt with light. So here I might start with shadows, do a very subtle exposure, not the biggest brush in the world probably either, and then get into this and start to think about just sort of loosely, any areas that I feel like I want to up the contrast. I'm going to darken those shadows a bit. And I might do the same thing with midtones, really reduce the exposure down, and so on. So you can see backing up the before and after on this one, and it's starting to get richer in terms of the value range.